Hello AuthorTube, I'm Wade Bradford. Welcome to my channel. I have a new journal. I'm really excited about this journal. I hope I fill it up with the good stuff. It's very beautiful. It's a journal from Peter Popper Press. I love saying that name 3 times fast. I've been trying to think of what kind of AuthorTube video to make, so I was looking at different AuthorTube tags. I don't fully understand what tags are. I don't know if you're supposed to be tagged in order to do them. Nobody's tagged me, but I thought I would do this one anyway. It's called Writers Are Weird, and that title appeared to me. So this comes from, I believe her name is Elliot Brooks, and I've just discovered her YouTube channel, and I look forward to watching more videos. And on her video, she posts 10 questions, so that's what I've used for the first 2 pages of my journal. So here is the Writers Are Weird tag. Number 1, do you have bizarre internet searches? If so, what's the weirdest one? And I was actually a little disappointed in myself because I don't think that my searches are that bizarre. Maybe it's because I write children's literature, so I'm not looking into weird crime things and things like that. But my favorite internet search wormhole that I've been down is I was looking up different islands and remote island civilizations and things like that, and I discovered a little place in the southern Atlantic area, an island called Tristan da Cunha, which I had not heard about before. And this is a fascinating place. It's the little community is called Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It's the world's most remote settlement. You have to take, boat thousands and thousands of miles, usually I think from South America or from South Africa, one way or the other. And right now they're not letting anybody on this island. The population is only like 230 people. I think there's only like 4 or 5 last names. They are probably looking for, when there's not a coronavirus, they're probably going to welcome you to the island because they probably want more people. They probably want a larger gene pool. And they have, once a year, they have an event called Ratting Day, where they go around and they search for rats. They hunt these poor rats, and they cut off their tails, and whoever has the largest bushel of tails is the winner of Rat Day, or of Ratting Day, if the internet has given me correct information. And I really want to visit Tristan da Cunha. My wife does not, but I think it would be cool to go and hang out there and write a book there while you're staying at the world's most remote place. Their only exports seem to be postage stamps and lobsters, and I'm not a fan of lobster. Postage stamps okay, but I don't like lobster. Anyway, is that weird enough for you? I don't know. Here's number 2. Do you write people you know and dislike into your stories as villains, or dumb people to kill off? And the answer is yes, but not all that often. But there was a screenplay that I wrote a long time ago called Evil Miss Agnes, which was basically about my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Cardle. And in the screenplay, I named her Mrs. Curdle. Mrs. Agnes Curdle was her name. And I did not like her in real life very much. So I took those feelings that I had for her and I amplified them into this character, this evil teacher that comes back as a ghost. So yes, I've done that, and I occasionally do that. I don't find it actually that therapeutic like I thought I would. There have been times where I've taken, a bully character from my childhood and try to put that bully in the story, but it doesn't work that well when I'm trying to do that. People in real life, deep down, even Mrs. Cardle, they are complex and complicated, and sometimes when somebody has hurt my feelings, especially when I was a child, then that's all they are to me. They're just a hurtful person. So I'm much more interested in looking at and creating characters that reflect that sort of emotional complexity. That said, it's probably better, if I do take people from real life, they are people that I have mixed feelings about, and they can make great villains for my books. Number 3, does personal hygiene sometimes come second to writing? I would have said no, but look at my hair. I did not take a shower yet today. I decided to make this video, which counts in a way since I'm writing things down as writing. But normally, I don't work well unless I take a shower, because that wakes me up. That's my version of a cup of coffee. And I like to have my teeth brushed and my ears cleaned, and it's like, I don't want to feel gross while I'm sitting around writing. It's already gross to be sitting around in front of the computer as much as I do, so I at least want to be clean when I begin the journey of the day of writing. Number 4, do you have a list of actors/actresses that would play your characters if there was an adaptation made? Sometimes. Very often, I don't have any actor or actress or any person any real life person in mind. Even when I'm trying to decide if this was a movie who would play these roles. So there's a lot of books. Camp, oh my gosh, I have no idea who would be good choices to play any of those characters. The book that I'm working on right now, Twixt and Twerp, there is one character. There's hundreds of characters in this book. There's only one that I have an idea of who I would like to play this character, and I have a character who is a halfling character, and if it was adapted, I would love for Warwick Davis to play this role. Warwick Davis was the star of Willow, and I would love to see him in another fantasy epic. I know he's been in other roles, supporting roles, or little cameo appearances in Harry Potter and the Star Wars films, but I think I like him as an actor a lot, and I would love to see him in a lead role again. I suppose, actually I should say Twixt and Twerp, his character, Mr. McFoppins, Broderick McFoppins, is a supporting role. Twixt and Twerp are the main characters, but he's third billing, and so I think it would be great to have him in a very substantial role again. So Warwick Davis would be my choice for the Twixt and Twerp film adaptation. And I should say, whenever I work on screenplays, I do often think of who would be a great person to play this role. My friend and I co-wrote a screenplay called Happy Time Circus, and we loved the idea of Michael Caine being the lead role in that, and we tried our best to talk like Michael Caine while we were writing the dialogue. We tried to make it sound like Michael Caine. We would have loved for Michael Caine to play. Hey, Michael Caine's still alive, but we wrote this script about 20 years ago, so I don't know that Michael Caine would still want to play it, but Michael Caine, if you're out there, I can't do a Michael Caine impersonation. Michael Caine, if you're out there, please contact me, and we'll hook you up with the script. Happy Time Circus. Number 6, have you ever stared at a stranger because they look like one of your characters? No, but I do sometimes. I like people watching, and so I do like looking at strangers and wondering, hey, what's going on in their life? Basically, I like stealing stories from people. Like if they are permeating some type of narrative conflict or backstory, I like to try to imagine what it is, and that helps me come up with story ideas. But I don't think I've looked at anybody and said oh my gosh, that's the character that I was writing about. Number 7, do you talk to yourself to help work through scenes? Not very often. I have a lot of talking going on up here, and I think that every once in a while I might say a word or a phrase while I'm writing. Very often there's kids at home or my wife's at home, so I'm kind of self-conscious that way. I think when I am all by myself, every once in a while I might say that's interesting, or no, that's not going to work. So I might say something in that. I don't talk out my dialogue, or I don't talk out the narration. I do read things back. I don't think that's what the question's talking about. I do read things back, or I read things out loud to make sure that it sounds right. But I don't talk out loud too much while I'm writing, little bits here and there. Number 8, while writing, do you make the expressions your characters are making? Not usually, with the exception of one expression. Let's see if I can get it right. Whenever my characters are doing this in the story, I do the same thing too. So my characters will do a lot of or this kind of is there a difference between that? So kind of like a very sort of, you know how the Muppets at the end of a good production number, they're like, they're kind of like satisfied. Like, so I imagine my characters doing that a lot, and while I'm writing, I will go, Number 9, do you ever practice answering interview questions in case you make it big? No, but I do imagine, I don't practice this out loud, but I do imagine, like, what if I won an award? If I won an Oscar for Best Screenplay, or if I won, you know, an award for writing a wonderful children's book. And so I sort of daydream about what I would say and what kind of, would I be, like, I have a short speech that's very quick, that's very just thinking, or would I make it very long? Would I remember to thank all the correct people? Would I say something really inspiring? I've never actually worked it out because I don't know that I need to bother ever, but so I've never written the actual speech. But I sometimes daydream, like, wow, what would I, if I was honored with some kind of big award, what would I say? So that's what I daydream about. Number 10, do you have a soundtrack and or playlist for your book or scenes from your book? Depending on what I have been writing, there are certain projects where the music is connected to what I am working on. And when I was working on my graphic novel Ducktown, my youngest child was listening to a lot of Imagine Dragons, a band I like a lot. And so I connected the main character from Ducktown, Rainbow Sprinkles. I connected her with Imagine Dragon songs. So every time an Imagine Dragon song comes up, then I remember, it's like, oh, I remember I was working on this scene in Ducktown when this Imagine Dragons. I wish it was called Imagine Ducklings. So yeah, so there are some things. The soundtrack that, at least the last 5 or 6 years, the soundtrack that has been most inspiring for me to listen to, and this is when I'm writing something, but also when I'm grading papers or when I'm doing work at the computer and I really want to focus and relax and zero in, it is John Williams' soundtrack to Warhorse. I love John Williams, and we all know, hopefully, if you know movies, you know the music of John Williams, but in addition to great, you know, epic soundtracks like Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies, the Warhorse soundtrack, I think, is a wonderful gem that perhaps not enough listened to. So I'm very happy to listen to the Warhorse soundtrack again and again. There's a lot of different emotions, and I like, when I was writing Twixt and Twerp, that was often my go-to. If I needed music, I didn't always need music, but if I needed music, then I wanted that. So that is it. I think that, I don't know if these authors have done it. I know Kent Shawn has recently done this. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I was inspired to do this one, because I just watched Kent Shawn's video responding to this tag. So, so I'm going to send tags. I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to call you out. I will call out Bethany Votaw, and I will call out DR Ranger. If you haven't done the Writers Are Weird tag, I would love to, I'd love to know how you would answer these questions. So, Bethany and DR Ranger, I'm turning it over to you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will have more AuthorTube videos coming up soon. And if you notice that there's a difference in the background, it's much greener than it usually is. I'm now in Washington State, and I'll be here for a few weeks, and I will make a few videos exploring my home state of Washington while I'm paying a visit here in the Pacific Northwest. All right, that's it. Good talking to you. Bye, everybody.